Hi Mecca Beauty Junkies, my name is Brii from Mecca Maxima on the Gold Coast. Today we're going to be creating this New Year's Eve party makeup look. I really hope that you enjoy it. Let's just jump straight into it. I'm wearing the NARS All Day Luminous Foundation. I picked this because it's very full coverage in a lightweight formula, really comfortable. It's going to be great for a flawless base. So I'm going to start by doing my brows. I just like to start with them to help frame my face, how the eye look is going to be when it's done. So I'm using the Hourglass Arch Brow Pencil. I'm using the shade Auburn just to match with my hair. I like to warm them up a bit. So I'm going to start by brushing through the brow. I prefer a really fluffy brow personally, so that's why I'm brushing upwards, but whatever shape you like will suit your face. So I'm going to start right at the bottom and sharpen it up and start to feather through the tail of the brow. As you start to get towards the arch, you can turn the brow pencil onto the side and fill in the tail. I always make sure to brush through them as I go so there's no harsh edges, nice and soft. We're going to start the eye now, and I'm priming my eyelid with the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. The reason I'm using a concealer over an eyelid primer today is because I'd like to neutralize any discoloration on my lid, and concealer just really gives me that coverage there. So you don't need a whole lot, just a small amount. And I'm going to blend it with a sponge. I'm going to set that concealer on my eyelid there just so it gives us a nice smooth canvas to work on, nothing too slippery or tacky. I'm just using one of the Hourglass powders in the shade Diffused Light just to give us that nice highlighted clean canvas. Just with a NARS eyeshadow brush. This is the 42 brush. So I'm using Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer, and I'm actually going to pop this through the crease of my eyelid just to give my eye a bit of shape, a bit of dimension. You can always use a brown eyeshadow, but I love the warmth that this gives. Just on the same brush we used before. Taking my NARS Larger Than Life eyeliner in the shade Via Veneto, just the black colour, and I'm using this on my upper waterline. This is going to give the appearance of fuller lashes and give the wing liner something to sit on. The easiest way to do this, I find, is just to look right down and wiggle it back and forwards. So starting off with our wing, I'm using the Smashbox gel liner in black and the Urban Decay Perversion angled brush. We're going to do a really bold wing. So I always like to use the back of my hand as my palette. This just helps me deposit the right amount of product onto my eye without going in with too much. Okay, so start right from your lower lash line and do your little flick. That way you have a guide of what your wing is going to look like, and keep your eye open. Just like that. And then you can take it as close as you can to the lash line and start to go along the lid. In just feathering motions. Now that I have my other winged liner done with our long-wearing smudge-proof base, I'm just going to sharpen it up a little bit with the Stila liquid liner in black. The felt tip gives you a really fine point to sharpen any of the wings. Now we're going to repeat what we did on the top of our eye on the bottom with the NARS Larger Than Life eye pencil, but we're using the shade Rue Bonaparte. The reason why I went with nude rather than a white is because nude is a little bit softer. We're going to take all of the redness out of that lower waterline and really brighten up the eye. Time to add in the glitter. It wouldn't be New Year's Eve without any glitter. So glitter glue by Too Faced, all-time favorite. This will keep that glitter that we're adding on all night. It is super tacky and it makes everything much more pigmented and much more bright. Be really careful not to smear the winged liner that we've just put all that hard work into doing. Taking the same brush that we used for our winged liner, the Urban Decay Perversion eyeliner brush, with one of the Urban Decay Moon Dusts. This is in the shade Moon Spood. It's a beautiful silvery black, and we're gonna pop that right over our glitter glue. And just pressing it in. Because it is a glitter, it does have a bit of fallout, but we're gonna clean it up with some concealer. Adding in some more glitter, we're using the Urban Decay Heavy Metal Liner in the shade Glam Rock. I'd like to give a very jewel-like effect to this winged liner, and I'm going to dot it on to kind of imitate fireworks. Now time for mascara. I'm using the Kevyn Aucoin Curling Mascara. I love the tubular formula that Kevyn Aucoin mascaras have. They're smudge-proof, smear-proof, they stay on for ages, and when they do come off, they come off in little fibers so they don't run. So I've just popped my lashes on. I decided to use the Mecca Cosmetica Enhancing Lashes. The flare on the ends of them really complement with the winged liner. Going in with the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer to brighten up that eye area now that the eyes are completely finished. I like to leave this to the last step so that I have room to make mistakes stress-free. I'm choosing a shade slightly lighter than my skin tone just to really counteract any darkness. I prefer to use a wet sponge under the eye area just because that area is always quite dehydrated, on me especially. I'm going to set my face with a powder now. I'm using Hourglass Luminous Light, another one of the Ambient powders with a soft shimmer through it. I personally really like a really glowy, luminous finish. I'm very dry skin. Just using it on the Too Faced Mr. Right brush. And I'm just going to press and roll this over my entire face. Don't be scared to use shimmer all over the face. It gives a really soft, ethereal, youthful kind of look. Now time to bring some dimension back to the face. Taking the Chocolate Soleil bronzer again with my NARS Eater brush. This brush is amazing for bronzer, contour, anything with the cheeks. It diffuses the product while placing it exactly where you want it because it has a nice, precise angle. So just finding the hollows of my cheekbones and warming them up. And for blush, we're using the same brush. So this little guy here, you can move him right up onto the bristles to get a more tapered effect. Amazing. So we're using Hourglass Dim Infusion. I'm all about the glow. And you want to just lift right on the cheekbones. Going in now with the Hourglass Panoramic Lip Liner in the shade Muse, a really beautiful hot coral. This is going to be our base. Pairing this lip liner with the NARS Audacious lipstick in the shade Juliet, I'm going to apply this with the Mecca Cosmetica lip brush. I find that with such a bold colour, it's very nice to have the precision. I start in the centre of the lip and work out to the outer corners. The centre is where you'd like to have the most product deposited. The best thing about these lipsticks is that they're so long wearing and comfortable, even during that New Year's kiss. And there you have the finished look. I hope this inspires you for your New Year's Eve makeup party look, whether you go with the bold eye, the bold lip, or the whole entire look. We'll see you in 2017 and have a great new year.